Hello and welcome to yet another exciting session of Revit Structure for Structural Modeling brought to you by BIM Technologies. So in this video, we are going to learn about how to create structural trusses. And here we will learn about adding these trusses into a structural project using an industrial structure. So here in my screen, you can see there is layout which is there, the column layout and a footing layout, which has a pedestal and an isolated footing, as well as you can see there are various plans over here. So let me give you some specification of the truss that we are going to learn. So first of all, let's understand how basically trusses are created in a Revit project. So trusses are families, loadable families which you can load and then you can insert or add into your project. So to look into the families of the trusses, you can go to the insert, load family, you can go and select the structural truss folder under the library over here. So there are various trusses that you can look here that you can basically insert into the project. So here for this illustration, I'm using a metric how cable truss 6 panel. So I can load it, or you can load other trusses also. So yeah. So once you load this trusses, then we will see how we can add it into a project. But let's see the project illustration. Here the specification. So here we have this. This is a footing which is basically 1800 into 1800 into 450. This is the size. We have a pedestal which is 900 into 900 into 600 pedestal, and there is a column which is basically tilting the truss of W14 into 34, which is a wide flange column. And the spacing for the truss is basically, you can, the span of the truss is 6 meters, 20 meters in fact. And this is the longitudinal spacing, and the transverse spacing, that's the span of the truss, is 20 meters, and the transverse spacing is around 6 meters, that is 6,000, that we can see here. And let's go to the 3D view to see what are the other things that is there. So here we have this rectangular footing. There is a pedestal of 600 millimeters, and then we have this structural column W1434, and there is a beam again, a W1434 that we have taken. Now look at the levels that we have. So here we have the levels. We have the footing. Top of the footing, it is at -450. The GL or the FFL level is 0. Top of the pedestal is 150 millimeters above the GL. And the eave height, the column height, in fact, the eave level is approximately around 7 meters from the 0, 0. So you have column height over here. So we're going to insert a truss over here. And also, we are going to take the depth of the truss as around 3 meters. Now let's see how we can create it. So let's go to the column layout. The column layout is basically, it is into the, we have this column layout. Let's say if we want to insert the truss, we need to insert it at the eave level. So the eave, let's go to the structural plan at the eave level where we want to insert the truss. So how do we do that? Go to the structure and we have a truss option over here. Click on the truss tool and you have got two basic options: draw a line or a pick line. And then you have this different kind of trusses type that you can pick. So let's go with an 8 panel truss, and work plane is at the eave level. So you can have the truss height, let's say I'm keeping it at 3 meters as a truss height, and other thing that we want to give it is the specification. Go to the edit type in the standard specification. For the vertical webs, uh, I want to use, so we have vertical webs, diagonal webs, bottom chord, and the top chord. So the structural framing type, so you can assign a structural framing type here. So I'm taking a hollow, we go with an RHS, a rectangular hollow section of, let's say, 8 mm thickness, that is RHS. So I'm taking this one, and the vertical uh, web and the diagonal web, we will assign it, but let's go with the bottom chord. I'm taking the framing type as of the bottom chord as RHS. Hollow section 150 millimeters into 100 into 6 RHS, 6 mm thickness. And also for the vertical webs, I'm going to take an L shape, L section, 12 angle, 76, 76, 6.4. And here I'm assigning it at the same 76, 76. So now I have assigned it. So in the type parameters, you can create a duplicate for this 8 panel truss. And there are various other options that you can have, like release conditions, angle of the cross sections, and so on. So choose the OK button. Now specify the first end of the truss is this, and the second is this. Now a truss member is created. If you want to see the elevation at this particular point, you can go with view. So there is an elevation called framing elevation. You can select this grid A over here. It will be attached to this grid. Now you can see, double click on it, you can see the truss which is created, and this is the height that we have kept, which is around 3 meters. Now if you want to look into the fine section, so you can see the fine section of the truss, and let me increase the section here. So you can see the clear section over here. So this is the bottom chord of the truss. This is the top chord of the truss. Now to select the truss, there are options over here, like the start level of it. You can increase the height, end level of it, start and end level of it. And then you have the create top chord. If you remove it, the top chord will be removed, or you can, and similarly, you can have this. So if you want to have the bearing chord at the top, the truss will move down. So I don't need the bearing chord to be at the bottom, and truss height. And then you have different kinds of other options that you can go for the trusses. So now if you want to go to the E level plan, and if you want to copy this, you can have a copy of this, or you can array it. For example, I take an array over here. I select this point, and I want 6 items to be copied at this grid. So I have this elements which are copied here, one left. So I can copy this particular grid. So now the truss is ready. You can see the truss over here with cross sections that has been defined. And then if you want to change something, let's say if you want to change the profile of the truss, you can you can go to the elevation views that we have created, the framing elevation view. We have framing elevation view, elevation 1A. You can select this truss. Now, if you anytime if you want to change any member cross section, there are various options over here. Remove truss family, attach top bottom, detach. So these are all options in the trusses. And let's say if you want to change any member cross section, so you can press the tab key, you can unpin it. And let's say if you want to give a different cross section, you can give a different cross section at any moment of time. So I'm just changing it to the L section. Yeah. So, and then if you want to change the profile. Let's say the moment we change the profile, you can have the profile set and delete it. You can change the shape of the profile, the top part. Let's say you want to have it in an arc section like this. So you can see the plus is changed accordingly, that particular arc section. So there are various options in the trusses that you can basically go and start looking into the Revit. And here we have this. And then if you want to change this truss into a different truss, let's say if you want to have a crack truss, you can change it to a crack truss. If you want to have different kind of other trusses, you can see the crack truss is created. And so so I hope this video has helped you in order to start working on the trusses, and keep watching more videos about structural modeling, and please like and comment to the. Thank you.